All right, welcome. My name is Silo, and welcome to the podcast. And here in the studio today, we have Deedra and Chris. How y'all doing today?
We're good.
Good?
Doing great.
All right. Well, this is going to be fun. We're going to be here talking about their new album coming up. But before we go any further, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Deidre Patrick, and I'm a singer-songwriter here in Bakersfield. I'm also a voice coach and an artist.
I'm Chris Neufeld. I'm a keyboard player. I mean, I'm often called a keyboard extraordinaire, and I'm also a producer.
And a songwriter.
And a songwriter
when I'm able.
Hey, are you both on social media?
Yes, we are.
Well, how can we find you both?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads,
Threads. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Neufeld.
Yes.
Chris Neufeld. All right. That's ChrisNeufeld.
Neufeld.
All right. And then how can we find you, Deidre?
You can find me at Deidre Patrick Music on Facebook and Instagram, as well as DeeDeFineArtShop.com. That's for my art.
Yeah.
And Deedee Fine Art. So that's DeeDee. So Deedee Fine Art.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Chris. So you were saying because you produce. What else do you do? Because you do a few things, right? You're a writer, right?
I recently did the sound engineering for a documentary that I took part in.
Oh, that's right.
Called Highway 58. I mean, it recently earned its premiere at the Fox Theater.
That's right.
I can't really say much on that because I don't know where it's going after this.
Oh, okay, right.
Depends on the director.
Yeah, really. That's okay.
Is that Nathaniel Burke?
Yes.
All right, right on. And then, so, Deidra, you do all kinds of stuff. You want to tell everybody what you do? Because, well, let me just say this, is that I'm scrolling through my Facebook one day, and I've known Deidra for some years now, and it's just like, I scroll by, and I see a painting that she's holding, and I'm like, what is this? Like, she has a painting, and I'm like, this woman can draw too? Like, what the heck? So, go into it.
Well, when the pandemic happened in 2020, I needed a creative outlet, so I started painting again. And I actually went to college for art, so I received a scholarship when I was a senior to go to college for art, and I was nationally honored in the who's who of artists in the nation my senior year. And so I went to college for art, and then I met up with some guys from Arvin High that were also going to BC at the time and got in a rock band and said, bye-bye art. So that's kind of what happened with that. So I started performing and singing and stopped doing my art at that time. So in 2020, when the pandemic happened and I was bored and needed something to do, I started painting, and I painted this weird painting and I put it on Facebook and everybody liked it. And I was like, oh my God. I
know. I was like looking at it, I'm like, what the, like she does art also?
I've sold about, I think, 12 original paintings since then. And
good.
I also do different things, T-shirts, cups, stuff like that. But I do different graphics for our albums and stuff too.
You see, that was like one of the questions I was going to actually ask, because that would be cool. Like, I follow a couple of different people, and then it's cool whenever they do their painting, and it's like, well, this is going to be my album cover. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yep. So, Chris, man, me and you go back a little ways. I went to school with Chris in the 5th grade. So long time ago.
But very long time.
Yeah,
ago.
And you know what though? The coolest thing about it though, because I don't know if anybody, if you haven't seen Chris play, seriously, you can just actually type his name into Google and a bunch of stuff will pop up. Like, he's been on the news. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so the first moment when I met Chris, I remember being 12 years old, and then I got my saxophone for the first time that we're gonna play in band, and then I busted out and I'm learning 3 notes, hot cross buns, and then the whole class is looking at this kid playing on the piano and just playing this whole the whole piano. Like if I don't know, like it was a grown person. I looked on the other side and it was it was Chris. So if you've ever seen him play, like he's been playing like this like since we were like that, probably even before that. When did you start playing the piano?
It was like when I was 2 years old when I started playing. I was self-taught. One of the first songs I played was the theme song for Cheers, Where Everybody Knows Your Name.
Okay, all right, yeah. Now, who are your influences? Like even like when you then maybe what made you do it? Like was there somebody that you seen like a Stevie Wonder or something? And then who are your influences then? And who are your influences? The people that influence you now?
I think my influences then might have been Elton John, Billy Joel maybe.
Okay.
And nowadays it's also been John Lord of Deep Purple.
Oh,
and
wow.
Richard Wright of Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay. Oh man, those are you're speaking my language of those.
The list goes on and on, I guess.
I know. You know what? That's a hard question too. Even for me, if I were to get asked that, it's like don't ask me that. Like you got to pick a genre, then a subgenre, and then like we could, and then we could start picking names. So how did you two meet?
I think it was the last Kern Autism Convention that I played. It was like 2008. But we didn't start working together until like a couple years later, 2010.
Okay, so then how did that happen? Did you contacted Chris or?
Well, I met him because like you said, we were at the Kern Autism conference, and was Temple Grandin there that time? It seems like
I don't remember.
Oh no, she wasn't there because I met her and got a book for you from her one time. Remember that? It was somebody else talking, but I saw Chris and he was over there playing in the corner, and I don't think I had been here very. I don't know. Matthew has autism, my son, and so I was at this, and I went up to him and his parents and said, "Hey, I give singing lessons. Do you think maybe he would want to take lessons?" And they all looked at me like. I didn't know what a virtuoso he was at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think we became friends on Facebook. And then we got together and put the band together, the Swamp Cats.
Yeah.
And that was all blues music. It started out covers, and then we eventually moved into originals. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that was the first band that I got back into since I came back to Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
Was with Chris.
Where were we at?
Well, I was playing in Los Angeles and touring all over the United States. And then when that tour ended, I came back to Bakersfield and just had taken some time off. And that's when I met Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what how long ago was that when you were touring?
1994.
94? Oh, okay. When did you start in the business?
1983. So I started, so I'm really aging myself, but that's okay. Because I'm making the white-haired lady the cool rock thing this year.
That's
anyway,
right.
It's the new look. Let's see. So 1983, I was 17, and I was in a band, like I said. So I graduated high school at 17, and I went to BC, and then we started playing around at Suds and the Tam O'Shanter and Chateau Basque and all these places. So that was 1983. So for about 6 years. And back then also we had like 2-year contracts. So like Tam O'Shanter, we were there 2 years. Chateau Basque, I think we had a year contract, which is unheard
like residencies?
of. Yes.
Yeah.
And all the bands, that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
And
that's, man, you know what? That's I like that though.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
Although there weren't a whole lot of bands. Like now there's a ton of bands around town, amazing bands. There's a lot more venues as well. And back then there weren't, you really weren't doing originals. You had to do covers. So that's why I left and went to LA so I could do my originals. But yeah, so that was 1983 to 1989. So 5 nights a week. You got long gigs too. It wasn't just weekends. So you played Tuesday through Saturday and you did your 4 hours and you had that long term. So for that entire time.
Yeah, you were steady. You had steady work though.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, no, that's the way it's supposed to be, really. The way things are. Well, you know what? We can get into a little bit of that, I guess. What are the big changes that like that? Like from then to now?
Oh, I can tell you what hasn't changed. The pay. way.
Already.
It is like exactly the same. Exactly the same pay. Oh, wait, it might be a little less, actually, to be honest. It's a little bit less.
I mean, if you factor in like the inflation and everything else.
No, it's just straight up less.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I get you on that. But like,
I could tell you exactly how much I made per night at 94 on the road. I remember because we were on the road, and so we had, what was it, like 400 or something a night, plus we got room, and then, and gas and all of that, which is really sort of the same now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear a lot of stories. I've talked to a lot of people that played in the 80s, and they tell me like the similar story. And it's just like, wow, that's just, I don't know. Like, definitely we do need to, by the way, I guess this is my little plug right here. We do need to save music. We need to save it, really,
we need people going to see the musicians who like buy drinks and food and hang out and things,
Like, also, though, even at that, like, I'm even trying to advocate for, like, listening parties. Yeah. Like, social, like, even if you're, like, listening to the radio. Because, like, I don't think as humans we weren't meant to be listening to music alone.
Well, that's a good thing to think about.
Why do you say that?
Huh. I don't know. I listen to music alone all the time.
No, but
although I think that music is such a universal language if you think about it. So obviously it's going to ignite conversation and emotions and things that you would talk about.
Now, go down this little rabbit hole. We'll get back on track here. Go down this little rabbit hole with me, though. Look, I really don't think that humans were supposed to listen to music alone. Like, our ancestors, right? It took all of us to make music together.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. Like, so
I think that's how
it was more of a we got together, and then no matter if you have two sticks,
right,
or a thing you blow, like, you have these little things and you cut one a different size and then you're making a noise with it. Right. I'm just saying that humans were not supposed to be alone listening to music or playing music, really. So that I think that has something to do with it. But like, because you got to think about it right now, like, most of the people are listening to music alone. Like, all of us, we listen to it like by ourselves a lot of the times, and then we're just in our own world. When they used to be in the 70s and 80s, I mean, pretty sure you could probably attest to this, that
because of my white hair.
Because you just said that. Oh, she got me. She just said that you graduated 83, so. When a record came out, it's like you and your friends used to get together.
We did. And even when I lived in L.A., though, even my friends there, we'd get together and we'd listen to albums.
My generation was the last to do that. Me and my friends in early 2000 still used to get together and, like, be drinking and, partying all night. But we were on YouTube or whatever it was when it first came out. And we were just throwing these songs out. Like, whoever had the best song. Like, hey, I found this song. We're sharing music still. So
I missed that.
Yeah. And then so I really think that, like, I'm going to advocate for this, that humans shouldn't listen to music alone. Well, you
should
can
make
listen
a
to
T-shirt.
I know.
That says humans shouldn't listen to music alone.
Yeah.
I'll do the graphic design for it.
So yeah, I'm advocating now, and I'm starting the movement. But anyways, let's get back to this. Where were we at? We were so. You're traveling, doing music. So the album, Gold Inside. Right. All right. So this whole story started in the 80s. We're going through the 90s now. Like, tell how did this album come about? What is this album about? Let the people know.
Well, first of all, Chris and I wrote some of these songs go back to 2013, I think, like Chasing the Rabbit, right? When the Rain Came Down. We wrote some of these songs with Swamp Cats, just like 3. And then a couple I wrote with Craig Garrison. So we had started kind of putting an album together, Chris and I, several years back. But at the time, we were just doing everything in his studio, all electronic instruments. Chris is playing every single thing. And we just kind of set it there for a little while, right? And then we just came back. I'll tell you, we had so many different things. We had projects we were doing with Rick Gerard. So as a new trick, so we put out a Christian album, a Christian rock album, right?
Called Love One Another, Godspeed.
And that was with Rick Gerard producing.
Yeah, and we did a Christmas album. I mean, before that.
What do we call that?
Peace for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And we had a song with Jose Feliciano on that one, right?
Yes, Santa likes to go to Mexico.
Santa likes to go to Mexico.
Dude, that is...
Before he, what is it?
I love that title.
Before he puts...
Before
Do you guys have the charts?
Before he heads back home. I don't...
No, we don't know.
Do you have the charts to that one? I would totally...
Oh, yeah, we probably
try to
do.
get some
You
licensing
should see
for
the
that.
video that Chris made for that. It's got Santa, and he's like dancing and shaking his butt, and it's really cute.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's all stock footage and stuff.
Okay.
Lies! You know I drew that stuff. Just kidding.
So, yeah, so continue. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I mean, so we, in my opinion, the album we did with Rick was great. Like, we learned a lot. I learned a lot in the studio with them, but they weren't any of our songs. So Rick Gerard has a production company, he passed away, and so a publishing company. So he's a lot of songwriters and so forth. And so we did a lot of songs for his songwriters from his publishing company. Then I think we maybe had 3 of our songs on it, I think. But anyway, so this album, Gold Inside, really came about at the beginning of this year. I don't know, honestly. In like a 5-second thought, I got this like hair up my ass. And I was just like, okay. I sent Chris a message and said, hey, let's just finish our album. And at the time, I just thought, the 4 whatever that we had already kind of done. And by finish, I mean get live musicians in and really do it the way we wanted, right? Because we do all our pre-production. So I'll let Chris talk here in a minute, but we do a lot of pre-production ourselves where we figure out what we want played, when, what, where, the arrangement, everything, so that then when we send it to musicians or whatever, that's kind of like a guide and they know what and so forth.
Yeah.
But anyway, with this particular album, when I started giving him those 4 songs, we started coming across all these other, and then all of a sudden I just started going through all these, how we all songwriters have like a million little songs on your phone that you have saved. So I picked 14 out of my million little hooks that I've written over the years, and then finished writing them, and then recorded them on my phone and sent them to Chris, and I'll let Chris take it from here. What happens after that, Chris? So after I write the songs and put them on my phone and then I send them over to you, you want to tell them a little bit about our process on the album?
I just analyze it, and the music she wrote, and then, I mean, if possible, I decide what music might work better, and I put it down.
All right.
And then what we did was, so these people that I played with in Los Angeles, so this was an all original group in LA. So that was my first original group playing there with this band called Tipsy Fox. And they meant a lot to me, right? And so when I went on tour in 1994, that band I was on tour with got in a car accident and we went head on into a building. And so it just like suddenly ended our career. And that morning I was on the phone with Joey Masters, who's in New York, and I was talking with him, and he was negotiating with Geffen Records for our original group. So the group I was on tour with was a cover band that I found through Musicians Connection magazine in LA. Just something, because it's what I do for a living. So I needed a band to go on tour with while my band was in New York. So we were negotiating with Geffen Records that morning, and then that day we left and we were heading to Coos Bay, Oregon. And we went head on into a building. So I had really, really bad injuries. And so that's how I ended up in Bakersfield. So I had to come back to Bakersfield after being released from the hospital there. I had to come here and just go through a lot of rehabilitation. And I couldn't sing or talk hard. I mean, it was a really bad accident. And so it wasn't until I met Chris that I thought, I kind of got interested in doing music again.
Kind of got that spark.
And so, but these people on this album, it's just interesting. Why are we using people from New York, right? We have so many great musicians here in town, and we play with a lot of great
musicians.
That was the last musicians that I wrote songs with, and it wasn't just my career that ended from that car accident. It was theirs as well with me. So it was nice to come full circle, and I called them and said, hey, you guys want to do this album with me, Gold Inside? And it was like a split-second hesitation at, oh, yeah, we'll do it. And, I mean, just like that. And I got Chris, so it's
like you got the gang back, huh?
One of them I didn't play in a band with. I met him because he hired me to do a demo for Berlin. So he was writing a song for Berlin, and so he needed me to. I didn't know him from Adam. I met him in Musician Connection magazine in LA, and that's Les July, and he's a phenomenal bass player, but he also plays horns and guitar. So he plays most of the guitar on our album as well as bass. And then Joey Henko, who goes by Joey Masters, I just tell him he has a different name depending on what band he's playing in, but he is the guitarist on the song When the Rain Came Down, which I wrote about this whole thing we're talking about. So he's the guest guitarist on that song.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
so this album, just kind of like, for me, it's called Gold Inside, and it is a song, or it's all songs that I wrote that are really raw, really, I didn't like shy away from any lyrics or anything to talk about. I made sure that I
just let it all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they have AI writing songs now, so you got to really.
So I got to be really creative now.
You got to be really raw.
It's like there's no way they're gonna recreate this life.
I'm gonna tell them what really happened. They'll never think of that.
Be duplicated.
That's what I'm saying. But that is a good point right there, though. So that's what I tell people all the time now with AI and stuff. It's like you got to be you can't be shy and hold back your stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like you got to be totally raw and real and give it everything, because we're competing with you can type in for lyrics and it'll write lyrics for you.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I still haven't. You know what?
That's weird. How do you copyright something like that? That is strange.
I don't know, because how do you be truthful? It's like AI did it, but I'm gonna put my name on it.
I don't like it.
Like that's why I'm not even touching it. Like there's all kinds of things I can utilize it even for business, and I still haven't touched it yet because I don't know. There's something that's not right about it. Even though we're gonna end up having to do it, we're gonna we're gonna have to do it as artists, musicians, in the industry, because other than that, then your competition is gonna use it and you're at a disadvantage. So it's, it does. But it's just like a lot of other things. Like, let's say a microphone that's like, oh, I need this microphone. And it's because all these other people are using it, right? I think it's a tool at the end of the day. So we're going to have to do it. It's just, I really do think there's something wrong with not creating something and taking credit for it. Because, there's nothing wrong with you using it. Like, let's say it creates something for you, but then if you're profiting from it, that's where I think there's ethics involved.
What do you like you're an artist and you paint a painting, and then they have you can type in but okay, so there's a difference in AI for art or someone who's a digital artist. So that's a certain skill level, and it's an entirely other thing. But anyway, I'm sure there'll be things as we get used to it that we can find that'll benefit us.
As of today, I think the Writers Union, they came up with a deal for their writers. So it had to do a little bit with AI too, I think. For the strike.
You following a little bit of that?
For the strike? Yeah. The writer strike. Yeah. It's just I think they ended it today. I could be wrong. Fact check me, somebody. Okay, so fact check me. I could be incorrect. Put in the comments. So, all right. So the album. When does it get released?
I'm shooting for the full album release February 2nd of 2024. Okay. But October 16th, we're releasing 3 singles or 3 songs on the radio. Rewind 98.1 is where it'll go first. I think we're going to have some songs on Savage Radio as well. And those 3 songs are going to be Good Day, Shoulder to Cry On, and She Can't Feel My Shoes. So we'll release these 3 singles and then a couple more singles up to the album release, which will have all the songs on it in February.
All right. Make sure that everybody who's following right here or listening to, make sure to keep an eye out for that. Social media, wherever.
Yeah, Deedra Patrick Music.
Yeah, let's make sure you definitely want to check this out. I did get to actually, we did get to do a performance here. So what song was that?
That song was called Golden Side.
That's on the album?
Yeah, it's the title track.
Okay, cool.
I was sitting. Can I tell you why I wrote that?
Yes.
So I was watching this documentary on YouTube of this philosopher. His name's Jeff Campbell. And so in the beginning of it, it had this little clip of the Golden Buddha. And you can look it up, the Golden Buddha. But basically, it's a story about this Golden Buddha in this village. And the whole village just like worshipped this Buddha as this beautiful Buddha. But then there was an army coming and they didn't want them to steal the Golden Buddha. So they covered it in mud and all kinds of things. And they just covered it up to protect that Golden Buddha. And over time, everybody forgot that the Golden Buddha was even there. And so even the Golden Buddha forgot it was a Golden Buddha, right? But there was a little boy one came and he was like picking the weeds and stuff around the bottom of it. And he knocked off a piece of it and saw the gold inside. So he ran to the village and he was telling everybody the Buddha's golden, the Buddha's golden. And so like the moral of the story is that, you're always golden. Like we forget about 4 or 5 years old, this philosopher believes, and you think about it, of how special we are and how much potential we have in life. You don't want to get hurt, and so you start putting armor around yourself, and eventually you have so much armor around yourself that you don't even see what's really inside of you anymore.
It's like, I'm golden.
You're golden.
I covered it though.
Look, it's golden. And so that's kind of so that song is called The Gold Inside. And it kind of inspired me. I was sitting there watching.
I really liked it. Yeah, no, I really liked it. Definitely. We'll play that back to you right now as we wrap this up. So some final words. You know what? Like I always try to end the podcast with a little bit of advice to the next generation in a way, or to others that are trying to do what we do. Because this is hard. So I always try to leave the audience with this question right here. But what is one piece of advice you give upcoming musicians? Something you wish you knew about sooner in your career. Chris, let's start with you.
I was going to say, let's go Chris first.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not that good at giving advice. I'm embarrassed to say this. But.
Oh, okay. All right. Deedra.
Okay, let's see. Well, I think, for one, it's an advice that I think is important, because when I was 17 and starting out, I didn't know, like, I'd always think, what's my style? Like, who am I? Like, what's my sound? Like, you know what I mean? What's unique about me? And so I think, though, what I see with people coming up is that just write songs and experiment what feels good for you and stick with what is you. Don't let like the trend of what's coming sway you. Oh, maybe I should be this time. And because eventually whatever you are will come to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever your style is going to come back. It's better to just be true to that.
I always say just be you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just be true to you,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because no matter what, I think we all do that.
What does that mean?
We all.
When you say like
true to yourself.
What? Like when someone says say true to yourself, because students ask that all the time.
I can't tell you how many times I've tried to follow the trend. Like, and then it's just like, oh, this is the music that's out, so I need to like do this, and then it's just kind of. But that's not who you are, You got to
so what feels good? That's how you know. Because like, what feels good when you're playing?
You know what though? Play to your strengths.
Right. That's true. That's true too.
Play to your strengths, really, because
what are you good at? What do you sound good at?
Like let's say I'm a blues guitarist and it's like I'm over here trying to do metal riffs. It's like, nah, come on, man. Right. Like, hey, get back in your lane, Like
when someone's telling you over and over, like for a singer, and they hear certain things and they say, hey, you sound good on that song. Listen, maybe then like that can kind of dictate, what style and what you want. But I did listen to all your podcasts.
Thank you.
And I did want to say, it's funny because because as a voice coach, I get asked all the time, like, how much do you sing? Okay. Every day.
Yeah.
Like every day, all day.
All day.
And like, then someone will say, well, how many times did you sing that song before you sang it on stage? Well, probably like 200. Oh, I did it too. Well, okay. Like 200.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly, right?
And if I have any of my students right now watching,
That's the truth.
seriously, I'll tell them, like, hey, this thing is still buzzing. Well, did you do it 100 times yet? Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. Well, you got to do it 100 times, and then you start following. Then you start figuring the
Right.
problem out.
I mean, depending on what your goals are, right? If your goals are to really make it, you also got to think of who your competition is. Your competition is who's on the radio and who's out there. Your competition isn't.
Your
like,
competition is working while you sleep.
That's it. You just got to
Working
You got to practice,
while
practice,
you
practice.
sleep. Hey, Deedra, Chris, thank you for coming on. Like,
Thank you, and thank you, your whole
Thanks for
staff.
having us on here.
Yeah,
no, I know everybody's
you do a
working
lot of
hard.
work. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for stopping on by and checking the place out. Definitely. We should do this again. But let me know when you do have that album out, or when it comes out on Spotify. Send me the links. That way I can put it in my playlist, because I don't know. I have a Bakersfield playlist, or wherever you're from, but get your local playlist going. That way it's kind of like, it does help out the musicians here, like your local musicians. So I try to make sure to kind of do that at least once a week. So, all right. That's a wrap. So
Thank
my name
you.
is Silo. Okay. We have Deedra, Chris, and everybody have a nice day.
Nobody is strong enough to hear my pain. Oh God, it's just me and you again. And I just want someone to share my truth to. I don't want to burden you, my friends. I'm sorry I didn't take off my armor then and use it like a weapon instead of a shield. Instead, I hid inside it and I never came back out. I forgot about you on the outside, needing in. Picking up the pieces, breaking through the stone. Picking up the pieces, looking for gold. I found the gold inside the broken, shining on all the shards.